And we're back, and the song you just heard was Never Enough by Sexton. And shout outs to Blunt Discussion.
Wow.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So our next guest, Laquita. I just met a girl named Laquita.
Oh my goodness.
And suddenly that name.
Sing it, Kurt.
Yeah,
Sing it, baby.
Wow. Diatre.
This is an individual, a person who is well versed. You know, she has a marketing background. She has an entrepreneurial background. You know, she's highly educated, coming from the School of Columbia, as well as being a Buckeye, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So no roll tide here, right? No roll tide here. And I believe you know our executive producer, Yaz. I'm gonna let Yaz finish you up. Yaz, please.
That's a great. That was around the block.
So we're joined here today. It's all fun, all fun. We're joined today with by Miss Laquita Henry, who, with a number of her accomplishments, as Curtis eloquently stated, she is also here from the community. It's always good to come back to the community and just deal with some local grassroots efforts. And so Laquita Henry is representing today Community Board 9 in the West Harlem area, and Chair Padmore John. But more importantly, Laquita comes to the community board as an appointee with somebody who can bring together everybody's thoughts and processes and bring them together from her background, but also talking about what's needed to build a healthy and clean Harlem. So representing Community Board 9, but certainly herself and her community, we bring to you Laquita Henry.
Yes, this is really a dynamic crew, and it's been such a pleasure to listen to you and hear the comments of the day, issues, and you're really very sharp. I'm glad that I'm with you on point.
Welcome,
And,
welcome.
Thank you. And
Move on.
not only am I representing Community Board 9, but I'm doing that on behalf of the Harlem Healthy and Clean campaign, in collaboration with, or actually started by the 125th Street bid in collaboration with Community Boards 10 and 9. So we're happy to be involved with this, bring attention to the fact that we want to have a cleaner Harlem. And this campaign will really spark the community, we hope, to participate and be more conscious of picking up the trash and disposing of it properly. The Earth Day is every day, but the initial idea was to have it take place on Earth Day, which is tomorrow. But the cleanup competition will take place on May 18th. And with this Healthy Harlem Harlem Healthy and Clean campaign, we want those in Community Board 9 and certainly those in Community Board 10 neighborhoods to participate, organize. You can contact us, but involve your block in some kind of cleanup campaign. There's an artist even that I was made aware of through a member of our community board the other night, who does trash as art. So we're going to try to involve that person as well. But on May 18th, it's all going to come together. It takes place on that day. There'll be a press conference. The bid has organized some speakers to participate, and there'll be entertainers. I understand it Loaded by Lux.
Loaded Lux, yeah.
Loaded Lux. Okay, here I go.
Big shout out, Loaded Lux.
Will be participating,
Yeah.
and so it will be really important. We want the children to be involved, but first and foremost, we want members of the community, the various blocks, to say, I think that's something we can do,
Yeah.
and make it significant. Organize those persons in their blocks to say, let's see what we can do to make a cleaner Harlem. Let's find a creative way to do it. It will come to become a competition. There will be judges. The bid, the Business Improvement District, led by Barbara Askins, is in the process of getting judges. There'll be 7 to 10 judges, city from Manhattan, who will participate. There'll be applications. The applications can be gotten from the bid, but we're going to have kiosk along 125th Street also that will advertise the campaign and provide you with
Oh, you're getting comfortable, I see.
Yes.
Okay, we didn't even need to do it for you. That's fantastic.
This is how the promotion may look.
Sure.
On the
Nice
kiosk
flyer.
along 125th Street. There'll be probably about 10,000 postcards and 300 posters set up. So everyone's going to know about this and have a way of contacting us.
So let's ask a question real quick on this one. Laquita, what was the reason? What was the impetus of wanting to do this campaign? Was there just so many lacking of services being delivered, or just people just needed to take more advantage of their
that is it, and also a trash impact study is something that the bid has been wanting to do in Harlem, and bring that attention and the results of that, so that added services can come about.
Laquita,
so
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think Barbara Askins, ever since she saw this commercial back in the days with a Native American with a tear coming down their eye because the river was polluted, and the forest was being, destroyed. I think ever since she saw that commercial, she wanted to do some kind of cleanup program on 125th.
That sounds like Barbara.
Yes, it does.
She's very innovative, well involved in Harlem, and really founded and having started up the Business Improvement District for 125th Street, and she's really on top of what's going on, not only in the city, but even in as it concerns international issues, because she's part of the international.
So in your opinion, what's a win? What's a win with this program?
Yeah, how do you win?
Oh,
like,
my God.
what's the judging criteria?
We haven't really set up all the criteria yet. They're in the process of going over that, reviewing the application. That those who want to participate, and we can encourage to participate, will have to complete. So we will have other presentations where, as we update our information, others will come in here and be able to fill you in too.
As an environmentalist, April 22nd is my high holy day. And I think that, one of the criteria, who recycles most, who recycled best. That should be a part of the cleanup, because it's not just about cleaning up Harlem, it's also about cleaning up the earth and, and managing your refuse and your garbage responsibly. And I think that would be an important criteria to promote.
I agree. Thank you for that input.
Yes.
Yeah, Ms. Henry, I want to ask you a question. In your crusade of cleaning up Harlem, right? How are you using your marketing and sales, business to motivate your team to do so?
Now, see, you're asking me all the tough questions.
In a situation like that, you have to people have to constantly be motivated. So I'm asking, how do you use that, to motivate the ones you have around you to clean up Harlem?
I'm going to be talking to colleagues of mine. We're going to get direction from the bid in terms of how, in a collaborative, concerted effort, we could do that best. With our posters and postcards, we're going to have to follow up. We're going to have to talk to our neighbors if we're not getting the response that we would like to have. There are individuals through the block associations and tenants associations that we need to reach out to if we're not getting the responses, speak to them, and we're going to increase the number of participants on the committee to help us do this, because this is a large district. We have large districts. So, but there have been interests. There have been students in schools who have expressed interest in the environment on a broad scale, and maybe we could make it more local by saying, okay, let's just take this one block, bring it home to see how you can, and we'll just have to listen to them, and then they'll hear us out in terms of what our ultimate goals are. And that's why I think the person who is known for creating art out of trash will be
Critical.
very
Yeah.
helpful as well to give us ideas. And art is inspiring. The whole cultural impulse of that is inspiring, and that could be a way to motivate and help market. But I think it's going to be real grassroots with our talking to tenants associations, talking to block associations, talking to organizations that are established in the community so that they can pass the word along as well. And through our website and online outreach, we can also encourage and just keep bringing it home that we need people to participate. We need to show
Well, the
that
first thing
Harlem is
you
interested.
did was smart was bring yourself on OnPoint experience.
Exactly.
So that was great. So Laquita, this area that's covered is from 110th Street. Thank you. 110th Street to like 155th, kind of like, right?
155th. And
So from like Fifth Avenue over to the river. So that's
Right,
a
and-
huge area.
overall, because some of that's Community Board 9, District 9, 10. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it 9.
So this
Sorry.
feed, I believe we have a phone call. This feat itself is pretty awesome. Are you incorporating Columbia University at all in this area in this campaign?
I believe so, and I know that it would be interesting even if someone from the university served as a judge. So we're in the process of trying to reach 7 or garner 7 to 10 judges, and just participating as a judge could even show more of their involvement. And of course, coming to our community board meetings, there's a lot of, from time to time, we have people from the university. But I think that's another reason and way to get more grassroots, local participation, even from the university.
I commend your efforts. Certainly, feats like this, again, I have to keep saying this, require people who probably would not be seen as doing things like this in such a grassroots level. And next week, we plan to have Hazel Dukes on, who's prolific in civil rights, but
Right.
she's going to be talking about healthy and clean Harlem. And
Right.
so, when you people who are you come from the Urban League background, I mean, when you guys come together, you ladies talk about these issues, it brings it home. And, we want to thank you so much for taking the time and sharing that this is so important for everybody. Because if you can pick up a piece of paper, then the everyday person can do the same.
Yeah, and trash is not sexy. So
At all.
that's it. It's one of the things that people really is like, oh, that, it's just, but we have to make people know that it is, because clean is sexy.
Well, clean is sexy, first of all. Well, Curtis and I just finished talking about this. I'm a big hater right now because we don't have sanitation garbage receptacles on our corners.
Oh, that's terrible.
And so, like on 100, and I'm gonna say where I live, but don't
visit her. Don't
But
go
on the
stalking.
corner of 110th and 7th, which is the gateway of Harlem, which is like the beginning, you would assume it's Central Park is across the street. You would assume there's a garbage can. We don't have any garbage cans on our corners. And as a matter of fact, it's like that from 110th, I would say, to 116th Street. Right. And then splashing here and there a couple of garbage cans. And when we asked about it, when OnPoint Experience called DOT, Department of Sanitation, they said it was a courtesy. And so I didn't understand that because it wasn't a courtesy prior to this administration. And now all of a sudden it's a favor to get a receptacle on the corner.
And that wasn't always the case. There were times when the sanitation department fundings maybe from city council members or other to provide a special kind of garbage can for the community, and they were more prolific. I know one of the interests is in these big belly cans, and that measure or provide an indication as to when that can should be
removed or emptied.
or emptied out. And apparently there's a cost factor to that. But that's part of the exploration and impact study that that is needed as well. And people speaking up, and I believe 125th Street bid has certainly been doing that on behalf of our community.
Especially now that with all the tourists coming by, bringing the trash. I mean, like, there's so many more people now in Harlem that it needs receptacles everywhere, not just along the commercial areas, just all around the neighborhood.
Well, I think the other issue is that there needs to be more of an education where people cannot put their personal garbage in these public receptacles. So you can't bring your garbage bags from home outside and put it in there. And so I think the Department of Sanitation is trying to decide or choose whether they should place it out there to kind of, I guess, school us as consumers or as constituents. But we have a right to throw our public refuge out, because if not, then I guess homeowners or building owners can be taxed, right? If your garbage is out in front.
Fined.
Actually, if
Fined.
there's debris in front of your sidewalk,
Yes.
directly in front of your residence,
Right.
it's a $300 ticket.
Yes.
Said
Up-
the
up-
Block Association
especially-
president.
Yeah, up to the curb.
Businesses are especially
Yeah.
vulnerable to that.
Yep.
I mean, someone could just walk along and
drop
drop a
something,
piece
yeah.
of garbage, and then at certain times the sanitation department knows exactly when to come along and
Give you a ticket.
and give that.
So
that
Laquita,
store owner
let's
a
talk
ticket.
strategically partnering with organizations. Are you guys considering working with like the Doe Fund or organizations of that ilk who specialize in cleaning up communities?
On a broader scale, I know that we are going to be interested in our particular districts because it can become so big. But I believe that the bid is reaching out to as many as impact that particular Harlem community. We're starting out now with community boards 10 and 9 so that we can, we would have more control and be able to monitor and gauge where we go from there. So for those organizations that are involved within that district, yes, we want as much participation as possible.
The first
and
campaign
with the
I remember.
organizations, I believe that there will be everything is moving pretty quickly right now. So it's just been several weeks.
Okay.
So I believe that they will be reaching out to other organizations. I know that we will, but it will be District 9 because we really want to focus on providing attention there. And so the community is big, and there's so much that we need to do, and we want to impact. So we want to at least start local that locally, that neighborhood by neighborhood.
So tell us a little bit as we close out. Tell us a little bit more about Community Board 9. What is Community Board 9, and where is it? When are your meetings? And if people want to come to a meeting, where they can
Community Board 9,
participate.
as you mentioned earlier, spans from 110th to 155th north to south, and it's a little jagged, but east to west would be somewhere St. Nicholas, Morningside Avenue to the river going west. So that's pretty much the district. Our offices are located on Old Broadway, 16-18 Old Broadway. Our general board meetings are the third Thursday of every month. There are committees. I'm on the Health and Environment Committee. We meet the first Monday.
Speaking of
every
meetings,
month.
how can people learn more about your program? Because we're about to wrap this segment. But how can people find out more about you, more about this organization, and more about the Healthy, Clean Harlem campaign?
In terms of the Healthy, Clean, and Harlem campaign, I know you had the phone number. We need to. I don't have the number right here. The 125th Street bid.
212-662-8999.
That's the
But
number
they
you
can
should
also call Community Board 10.
And then we could call Community Board 10 at 212-749-3105. And we can call Community Board 9. I have to just pull that up. And you can speak to our district manager there, who will put you in touch with me or with Monica Dula or Ken Miles, anyone on the Health and Environment
Big shout out
Committee.
to you, the Prince.
Anyway, and just stay tuned. We're going to be sending out notices, but then there's the 125th Street bid.submittable.com for the cleanup competition.
Awesome.
I like
And
how
I
you
know-
said that. Stay tuned. So you stay tuned to hear more.
Thank you so much, Laquita Henry.
Yes.
Community Board 9, Healthy and Clean Harlem campaign.
Don't spit scatter litter. Don't spit scatter litter.
Thanks a lot, Laquita.
Oh my goodness.
Down to earth once again.
OnPoint Radio. OnPoint Radio. OnPoint Radio. OnPoint Radio. OnPoint Radio.